I am plagued by a mystery at the moment that I cannot figure out. A few weeks ago, I had a very normal interaction with a friend on social media. I posted a story. They replied to the story, and their reply made me go, huh, wow, like that. And then I thought about their reply, and the wow got bigger. I was like, oh, wait, wow. And then I kept thinking about it until my mind was blown. Weeks later, I'm still thinking about it, and I can't get it out of my head. So this video is me purging this mystery that I cannot unravel for the life of me behind this comment. And I want to take you on this journey. This whole thing is about ducks. Actually, one duck and one lady. This duck, actually, to be precise, a few weeks ago. And this will start off very mundane, so bear with me. I was on Instagram wanting to post a story, which was mainly like a slab of text type story. And so I needed a background image that was fairly blank. So I went into my camera roll and I chose this photo of a duck. The text in question was like advertising a gig that my band was playing. I wanted to do something a bit different, so try to be quirky. I chose a random photo. It was a duck. And then inevitably the text itself became a little bit duck focused. Anyway, none of that is the point. The point is it was a random photo of a duck. And then my friend replied with this, and this is really the comment that has caused me several weeks of existential crises. Is that the duck from the Warrandyte River? I replied saying, how do you know that exact duck? Pretty impressed, like, because it was the duck that is the Warrandyte River, and that was a duck, right? Okay. She says, that duck has big duck energy, and a commanding aura, unforgettable duck, all very true. And I said, it is a very impressive duck. You're right. It has a lot of dignity. And then I left the conversation there, but 10 or 15 minutes later, I came back and went, I'm seriously so impressed that you knew that exact duck. Okay. Right. So, on the surface, it's pretty impressive that she recognized a duck. And I guess you're with me there on that, but think about it and then think about it more. And then let me explain. I want to deep dive here to really get our heads around just what the heck is going on here, because how did she know that duck? Like, how did she know that duck? How did she know that duck? I don't know. I genuinely, how did she know that duck? That is insane. And I can't stop thinking about it. The more I think about it, I just keep like, I'm almost like freaking the Rain Man of duck recognition probabilities over here. Like I'm doing statistics. So I need to start to give you the information that I've been putting together in my head, because you might be thinking, oh, maybe it was this, maybe it was that. Let's get into this. First of all, she said, is that the Warrandyte duck? You might be thinking, did I tell her I was going to Warrandyte? I did not. There was no mention of me being in Warrandyte, just to get that straight off the bat. You might also be thinking that maybe Jess and I live like in the same suburb and that's like a local duck that everyone knows. No. I live at least a half an hour drive from where this duck photo was taken. And Jess also probably lives more like a 40-minute drive from that location and in another direction. So this is not like a local duck. I live in a suburb called Doreen, right here.
Quack.
And the duck in question was in fact in Warrandyte, which is here. So let's find out exactly how long that is to drive. It is exactly a 30-minute drive, apparently. Good guess by me. That's bang on the money. Jess lives in Hillsville, way over here.
Quack.
That's Hillsville. Let's say Warrandyte to Hillsville. Just for the sake of argument, we'll see how far that is. It is a 37-minute drive. Right, so it's not a local duck for either of us. So I guess that's point one. It's not a local duck. I just keep going back to this. Okay, so she's looked at this image And she hasn't recognized the landscape. She's recognized the duck and knew what town I was in when I took that photo. But here's the thing. I didn't even say that I was in a town when I took that photo. I didn't even say that I took that photo, did I? Is there anything in here that says that I took this photo? Let me just quickly... No. I mean, you would probably assume that I took the photo, but it's just a random photo of a duck. It's a random photo of a duck. And she knows what town it was taken in because she knows the duck. Right? Like, is that the duck from the Warrandyte River? So she doesn't know that it's Warrandyte or even a river. There's no mention within the picture that it's even taken on a river, right? So it could be anywhere. Let us just refer back to our map for a second. So I live in Doreen, and you can see all these little bits of water. Look at this reservoir. Like, I live near a reservoir the size of a freaking suburb. There are creeks, ponds, rivers, the Plenty River. This thing runs all the way through all these creeks and streams, wetlands. Within half an hour of where I live, there are so many water banks where this photo could have been taken. But I could have taken that photo in another country. It could have been taken in infinite places. Probably reasonably to say any place in Victoria where ducks live. Let's ask that. Where do ducks live in Victoria? Wetlands, lakes, ponds, rivers, coastal areas, farmland with dams. Okay, maybe there's no map. But I think if you were to see a map of where ducks live in Victoria, it would just cover the entire state. So maybe we ask a different question, like how many ducks live in Victoria, Australia? AI says 7.1 million game ducks in Victoria. So this is how the photo was taken. My family, I've got 2 little kids and a wife, and we wanted somewhere nice to go on the weekend, and so we went to Warrandyte. Warrandyte, let me describe it. It's a nice little town where you can feed the ducks. It has a playground, some nice little thrift stores, and you can get a good coffee and have a nice family day. Now, it's reasonable to assume that that's the kind of place I would go and take a photo of a duck. But I have not, that description of a town has not narrowed it down at all. Victoria would have 500 towns that fit that description. To start with, we can talk about the Yarra River. So the Yarra River is about 250 kilometers long, and it goes through the Yarra Valley. And along it are dozens of towns. All these towns where you can go down to the bank of the Yarra River and see a duck. Now, remembering though, I never said it was taken on a river. I never said it was taken in a town. I guess I'm just trying to highlight. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay. How did she know where this duck was? How did she recognize this duck? Okay, wait.
Quack.
All right. Jesus. Even if I had said I took this photo of a duck on the Yarra River, it would still be an insanely good guess to say, oh, was it in Warrandyte? There's got to be, I don't know, 30 towns just on the banks of the Yarra River, including Melbourne itself, the city of Melbourne. If I look at this, if you jump on a flotation device in Warburton and just chill on the river for long enough, you will end up in the city of Melbourne with the Yarra River. You'll go right. It'll take you straight to Crown Casino, baby. But again, I never said that the photo was taken on the banks of the Yarra River or even on a river, because look at the photo. Look at the photo. Look at that. That's not necessarily a river. You would probably guess it's a river, but it could be a reservoir, a lake, a stream. You know, this guy, look at him. I mean, it is a good duck. Don't get me wrong. It was a good enough duck that it captured my attention. And so it does have big duck energy, this guy. But this is like duck-based geoguessing. Like a geoguesser, a professional geoguesser couldn't figure out what town that photo was taken in by the landscape. But my friend Jess was able to do it by the duck. By that duck. What? I can't stop thinking about it. It gets weirder every time I think about it. Let's take a beat. Let's think about this from another angle. So, how? There are 7 million ducks in Victoria. How does she know this one? How does she know this one? Does she know them all? Like, does she know them all? If I took a photo of a different duck in a different town, would she have been like, oh yeah, that's Lilydale. I recognize Kevin anywhere. What's this duck's name? Do you know the duck's name, Jess? Because you know the duck. You know that duck. You know that duck. I have lost my mind. I was under the impression that for the last 20 years or so, I was friends with a human. It turns out Jess is some kind of duck wizard or duck witch. Witch sounds weird. Why does wizard sound less harsh than witch, by the way? A witch is a female wizard, right? Is that right? Or is that just a Harry Potter thing? Anyway, look. Let it be known that my friend Jess knows her ducks with an uncanny, maybe even a superhuman ability to recognize specific ducks and know that where they live. Is that his house? I guess that's another question I've got. Is that like the duck's house that we're looking at? Because you know he's from Warrandyte. You know that you don't just know that duck. You know where his house is. What if that duck flew to another town? Would you be like, what are you doing here? You live in Warrandyte. I don't know. I feel like I don't understand the world anymore after this has happened. I don't know what's possible anymore. Okay, so the reason I know Jess is because she's married to my best mate, Luke. So I reached out to Luke for comment, and this is what he said. She's such a bird nerd now after moving out here. I got her a bird book and binoculars for her birthday. This emoji and a laughing emoji. Okay, so according to her husband, she is a bird nerd now, and she has a book on birds and binoculars to look at birds. So ostensibly she has been going around looking at birds with binoculars. So she's probably had a really good, maybe at some point she took a really good look at this particular duck, which is 40 minutes drive from her house. The bird book I don't think would really help in this situation. I'm sure that, like, if you buy a bird book, it's not telling you like specific ducks and where that particular duck lives. And so yes, apparently she's a bird nerd. I would probably say she's more like some kind of duck savant. And I would seriously look into this, Luke. Your wife may be the best. She might be the Michael Jordan of bird watching. She might be the best to ever do it. Right. So bird nerd might be a little bit of an undersell there. I think Jess might need to step up to the big leagues. And I mean, I just keep circling back to this. You know, how did she know that duck? Hopefully now that I've made this video, I can rest a little bit easier, knowing that I've put the question out into the universe. It's not just like stuck in my own head trying to figure this out. Because I don't know how we can solve this mystery. I don't. But maybe we can just comfort each other in this time of confusion. Or maybe we need to pivot and be happy. There's someone in the world who can do that. Rather than getting bogged down in the mysteries of how, just enjoy that it can happen. Right. Okay. So, well, if you're still watching, I appreciate that you've gone on this journey with me. You are kindred with me in that you've very strange interests. If you've watched this video this far. Otherwise, hit subscribe on this channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.